My name is Aidan Kearney, also known as Turtle Boy.
He is a senior editor for Turtle Boy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtle Boy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You did not say that you were going to take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know you.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never going to stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom! What's up, turtle people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your fearless host. They call me Uncle Turtle Boy. Well, my name's Aidan Kearney, first of all. My real name's Aidan Kearney, but you can call me Clarence Woods Emerson if you'd like. Old school turtle riders call me Uncle Turtle Boy. I'm blurry. Am I blurry right now? Is that what people are saying? Hold on. Is it bad? I don't know why it looks like that. I have pretty good Wi-Fi here. Need my lighting fixed? Oh, you guys are killing me. Hold on. Let me is it better if I just turn this off? Is it better like that? Is that better? I don't like the shadow with the hat, but I think it's a little better. Should we go with that? What do you guys think? Is it wicked blurry? Blurry light. I don't think the lights is the problem. I think it's the What the fuck? Why does it look like that? Hopefully it self-corrects. I don't know. Mine, it looks better now. Better? All right, whatever. We're just going to roll with it. I don't know. I have a really clear stream on my end, but either way, welcome. So anyway, Uncle Turtle Boys with old school turtle riders call me. I like doctor because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then so am I. That's also my Twitter account handle at Dr. Turtle Boy. That's at 𝗬𝗎𝗆𝗆 Turtle Boy. Some people call me daddy just because I put out, a settled disagreements. It's not a sexual thing. So you can call me that if you want, but I understand it's a little weird. I don't care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp for the live show. And make sure you smash that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up. Those help as well. We got a nice little audience building here. We got a little over 2,000 on YouTube. That's nice to see. I thought I set up the Rumble, but I think I set up the wrong channel for it. So we should be on Rumble, and we have 2 channels on there. So go to the other one if you can't find me, you Rumble rats. Also, we're on Twitter now. How many people we got watching on Twitter? Let's see. By the way, I've gained like 1,500 Twitter followers in the last 2 days. It's been crazy. Yeah, we got how many? We got 711 on Twitter. By the way, did you guys see me on? I made CBS National News, and they gave me like really good press. You guys want to see this shit? Let's check this out. Check this out.
Turtle Boy, and what's their role?
This is like not like local WBZ. This is like the shit your parents watch. National news.
Penny, I have a piece of paper here that says Turtle Boy on it. Apparently that plays a role in the case. Who, what is Turtle Boy, and what's their role?
That is a great question. It would probably take maybe an hour to discuss how Turtle Boy has fully played into this case. I can tell you he's an independent blogger here in Boston. He's really galvanized the spirit of several communities. I mean, you're not seeing it right now, but let me tell you, just about an hour ago when Karen Read made her way into court, hundreds of people that were dressed in all pink, they're Karen Read supporters. They have signs that say free Karen Read. They have signs that say Karen Read was framed. Turtle Boy is really spearheading that initiative. He is so passionate about this case. He actually got involved himself. He was charged with intimidating witnesses in this case. So Turtle Boy has really been at the forefront of the entire Karen Read trial. I would say he's probably somewhat responsible for this massive response and why this case has become really the center of attention for not only Massachusetts, but even drawing attention from the entire country.
Penny commit. Penny, thank you very much.
I mean, seriously, that was great press. I'm not going to lie. I met that woman yesterday. We had a nice chat. I did not know she was from CBS National, but it's just like, how hard is it to say journalist? Like, I am in fact a journalist. An award-winning one at that, an award-winning journalist. And it's just, I don't know why they can't do it. I don't know why they insist on it. But you know what? I made the national news, and she gave me credit, for the crowd being there and whatnot. So I guess shit's going to annoy the fuck out of me if I don't fix that. Maybe that's why, because I have a bootleg green screen. But anyway, Turtle Boy's gone national. Look, Ma, there go that man again. Blurry again, people are saying. I don't know. We're just going to have to get used to it. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, when I see it on my end, it's perfect. They have a perfect, not blurry at all. Probably take like an hour. She was good. I made $5 million. Hey, the glare is here. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, pal. Enjoyed the stream. There's been so much content to consume these days. Who's got time for it? But anyway, I just want to say, so no court tomorrow, but if anybody would like to donate to the program tonight, you click at the link at the top for something called Turtle Chat, and you can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a message when that happens. I will read your message out loud to the class, and I will sometimes, it can also do Cash App at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. That will suffice as well. We got one here already from Kim C, donates $25 and says, from now until the end of time, all law schools should play Yanetti's opening statement. The best I have ever seen. Karen, we love you. Remain strong and resilient. As always, Unc, I want to thank you for everything you have done. We will always be grateful that you were able to bring us all together. Your selflessness will never be forgotten. Continue being the voice of justice and kicking ass. Well, I appreciate that very much. Very kind of you, Kim C. So, yeah. Great to see that. This is the big moment. You know what I mean? Obviously for Karen Read, but definitely for me as well. This is the culmination, man. The national media is here. Everybody's gonna be watching this shit for the next 6 or 7 weeks. That's right. Got to get in that courtroom. So I don't know how I do that, but I got to get in that goddamn courtroom. All right. Anyway, the blurriness is so bad. Should we start over? People are saying the blurriness is so bad. It is bad. What is doing that? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to X out of this. I'm going to be right back. Let me try to come right back. Let me know if it's still blurry. That's still blurry as shit. Is it not? I mean, I don't get it. It's not all blurry on my end. Like if you could see my end, it's not the least bit blurry. Oh, that's much better. Like if I get closer, maybe is it less blurry? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let me move up a little bit in the world. How about that? Let me see if that's less blurry. Much better, people are saying. Better. We are the only ones who, okay, it's better for us. Okay, gotcha. It's just the lighting. Do I have too much lighting on my face? Is that the problem? Hold on. How about that? Does that work? Is that a little better? Let me know if that's a little better. We're going to get through this together. Is the lens dirty? No, the lens is clean because it's wicked clean on my end. That is better. All right, we're just going to go with that then. It was the lighting. Cool. Anyway, we got it figured out. So read a couple. Oh, now I got this fucking shit in the background that's annoying me. Hold on. Virtual background. Let's clear that out. All right, that's good. All right, so we got a couple cash apps to read. Let me bang these out real quick. First, we have Allison sends $10 and says, shout out to RM. He won the Turtle Boy Ratchet Madness bracket. The Turtle Boy Madness bracket. The college basketball one or the real one? Okay, thank you. JB sends $5 and says, how does this go 8 more weeks before the feds step in? That's a great question. At least we're going to be entertained. Bruce sends $5 and says, hey, Mom, here comes that man again. Wait, tick, tick, boom. Got that right, Bruce. Lisa sends $10, says, thank you from Dedham, your favorite librarian. I heard Grant made his way down, Grande, as we call him, made his way down to the Dedham library today. Somebody sent me, I'm really sorry about that. Sorry about the smell. It is what it is. I get it. But okay. All right. Again, if anyone else would like to donate, we got a couple turtle chats to bang out here. $10 from Elizabeth says, I'm new with watching you, but you are amazing. I love your dedication and look forward to watching all your updates. Are you always live on YouTube? Yes. First of all, thank you and welcome aboard, Elizabeth. But yeah, we are always live every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. And I hope you enjoy it. Check out some of the older streams. We've been covering the Kearney case in particular since over a year ago. And it's been award-winning to say the least. Thank you. Brittany sends $10 and says, please let Will the Glarer know that I love him. Also, keep kicking ass. Your journalism continues to be validated. It's just funny. You guys are freaking awesome, man. You guys are like, we have the best fan base ever here. Like, it's huge. Like, look at how many people are watching right now. We have almost 3,000 people on YouTube. You compare that to other YouTube channels that do true crime and have more subscribers than us. They don't get this many live viewers on every episode. Like, we get crazy viewers here. And you guys are some of the most dedicated, loyal people. And you say the nicest shit. The nicest shit. You're too kind. And then it's just like, but then they're just like, yeah, some blogger. What? What's your problem, pal? Okay. You know, I'll show you what I showed earlier on Surviving the Survivor, an issue I had with some woman on there. She just really pissed me off. I showed it earlier today, and maybe I'll show it again. Oh, she has the stream again. Oh, that. Wait, we're blurry again? It's blurry again? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, well, we're just going to go with it. Need them to sub. All right. What was I saying? And keep me updated on the Bruins too, people. All right. So Brittany sent 10. That's good. Bethany sends $5 and says, A little late to the party, but I'm riveted by the case and your blog website, which is both informative and entertaining. As someone that lives in Northeastern Connecticut and works in Mass, I can see the reach right on 395. I oftentimes get passed by a pickup with the free Karen Reed on the window. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Bethany. Kelly sends $10, says, do you know if there's any truth to JM being at Officer John O'Keefe's house today? Yeah, I'm sure. She goes there regularly, I'm sure, because she's buddies with Peggy. Peggy's is what she is. I mean, you can't say mean things. You're not allowed to say mean things about Peggy, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to criticize Peggy O'Keefe. Untouchable. She can give me the middle finger all she wants. I can't criticize her back. That's the rule. All right. Who else we got? $10 from Paul says, during Jackson's cross of the paramedic, he asked the medic to describe the lacerations on John O'Keefe's arm as he documented as scratches. The medic makes a claw with a scratching motion, and he recognizes this and tries to make him recreate it. Lally immediately objects, and Bev sustains. Something a dog would do. LOL, it's over. You're absolutely right about that. Scott sends $10 and says, Friday's takedown of the human shield at Dedham District Court has given Turtle Boy free reign at the courthouse, and then Auntie Bev blocks public from the teeny courtroom. Coincidence? I mean, the defense is the one that filed the motion. So again, even they still get 10 spots. I feel like I should get one of those spots. You know, I mean, I did go to jail for this. Ultimately, the reason I was on bail in the first place is because I covered the Karen Reed case so aggressively. If this was any other, like I've been this aggressive with other cases in the past. I've been with Monica Cannon Grant. I did the same shit with her. Got up in her grill, asked her questions. I didn't get charged with felony witness intimidation because Monica Cannon Grant wasn't untouchable. McAlberts are. That's the difference. Like Brian Tully is untouchable. Michael Proctor is untouchable. There are special rules for them. So like I could have just kept writing about Monica Cannon Grant. Like I could have just gone and lived my life and no one would know about this story and there would be no crowds cheering for Karen Reed as she walked into the courthouse, right? That would never happen. And they wouldn't have a picture of Jennifer McCabe parked at Michael Proctor's house, whatever. Like, sorry, I think I've earned one of those spots. I do think I have. And I love, it's just like, I feel like, you know, watching that today, it's just like, come on, there's 10 spots there. I deserve one of those spots. I need to get in that courtroom. Okay. But anyway, next up, let's see. I think, is that all for the cash app for the turtle chats? Oh, a couple more. DW sends 25 and says, how does Previn get on Court TV? Who's Previn? Were they looking for bartending tips? How to hit on underage 21, how to hit on under 21 college chicks when you are middle-aged? He sucks, but you rock. Keep up the strong work. Was he really on Court TV? Was he really on Court TV? Get out of here. And I did meet Vinny. I'll show you how I met Vinny the other day. Yes, the family would have to invite me to court. So I would have to be invited by the Reed family. And, you know, not for nothing. If I'm being honest, I think I earned it. I think I earned a trip to court. Okay, next up. We got Sharon sends $10 and says, I love your locals following for over a year. Grifters coming out of the woodwork. Y'all's love is infectious. Thank you very much, Sharon. Kelly sends $25 and says, let's fucking go. Absolutely. Russell sends $10 and says, envious people will never completely acknowledge accomplishments of the subject of their jealousy. Very true. Let's see, do we have any more cash apps? Jason Reed sends $15 and says, you demand. Thank you, Jason. Jane sends $20 and says, fuck that lady bitching about the lacrosse game earlier. Yeah. What was her problem? And $5 from Kyle says, Brian Albert never came out due to hands banged up. I'm pretty sure that's a really good bet. So we got a lot to go over. Plevin was on there. No, who invited him on? Who the fuck invited Plevin on? No way. Yeah, so I like this comment. So Scott says the defense team probably wants to steer clear of the possible controversy at this point, unfortunately. So if that's true, I'm severely disappointed. Because like I took up the cause of somebody arrested for murder. I'd like to point that out. For somebody arrested for killing a cop is much more controversial than anything I've been charged with. And I still took up the cause of that. So I don't think that's true, Scott. I don't want to think that's true. If that's true, I am severely disappointed. If it's just like, because that, like everything all these other losers have said, crusty panties, they threw you on the bus, they would be proving them right. So I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe, if they don't want to be associated with me because of that, I'm too much of a distraction. Really? I mean, I think they liked the distraction when Karen Reed has hundreds of people cheering her walking into the courtroom every fucking week. I think it matters when Karen Reed is the good guy in all this and they're the bad. Again, so I would be severely disappointed if they actually felt that way. But I don't think they do, because I've talked to them since then and we seem to get along well. So that's all I'm saying. Severely disappointed. Okay. They're saying when they wanted Wendy on and she said no and recommended Kevin. So he went. I mean, is Court TV a joke? Like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. Okay. So anyway, let's get to, they respect, let's see, the Commonwealth hates you. Yeah. It's like, who cares? Like, you gotta, at this point, whatever. Anyway, let's watch this video real quick of, before we recap the trial of the entrance the other day and when I met Vinny. You guys see this video? All right, hold on.
Sharp, John. Here they are. Hey, Vinny.
There he is.
Turtle Boy. What's going on, man? How are you? Nice
you?
to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Good to see you in person.
Looking sharp. Here they are. Looking sharp, John. Looking great, man. Looking great. How's everybody feeling today? Justice is coming. Mr. Jackson, how are you?
You bet it is.
Here it comes. Do you anticipate witnesses testifying today, or is it just going to be opening statements?
No, we'll get to witnesses.
We're getting witnesses. We're getting started. Okay. There you have it. So prosecution witnesses will be going today. There she is.
We got you, Karen.
Karen, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling confident? We love you, Karen. Mr. Yannetti, how are you feeling today?
Great.
Will you be giving the opening statements?
I'm sorry?
Will you be giving the opening statements?
I will, yeah.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing it.
Thank you. How you guys feeling for today? Great. Beautiful day.
There's Vinny. Vinny. So we are going to follow Karen into court. This should be interesting. Let's get over here.
Yep.
All right, so you guys get the point.
Let's go over here.
So that's me meeting Vinny Politan for the first time. But anyway, let's just jump right into the trial, shall we? Let's get started. Let's watch a little recap of some of the highlights of the last 2 days. Starting with this. Okay. Hold on.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. As I previously told you, my name is David Yannetti. I'm an attorney with an office in Boston. together with attorneys Alan Jackson.
First of all, I
and
just want to
Elizabeth
talk about the way he started. How
It's truly
awesome
my
it is.
privilege and my honor.
Like, I'm not going to play any of Adam Lally's because I don't want to bore you guys and put you to sleep. But it was just so bad. It was so bad. It had no emotion in it. He acts like he's not prosecuting a murder. Like, it's just so bad. People are saying I'm blurry as fuck again. I don't see it. But, okay.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn that it was no accident that John O'Keefe was found dead on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Road in Canton on January 29th of 2022. You will learn that at that address lived a well-known and well-connected law enforcement family in Canton, the Alberts. Because the Alberts were involved, and because they had close connections to the investigators in this case, Karen Reed was framed for a murder she did not commit.
Look at her shaking her head. Look at her shaking her head. You see that?
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. As I previously told you, my name is 𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗍𝗍.
Yes, she
I'm an
did.
attorney with an office in Boston. Together with attorneys Alan Jackson and Elizabeth Little, it is truly my privilege and my honor to represent Karen Reed during this trial. From a very early juncture in this case, you will question the Commonwealth's
So we've heard this all. He was fantastic. Fantastic. To start it off with, Karen Reed was framed. Couldn't be any better. Couldn't be any better. So we're going to go to some of the witnesses. We're going to watch some of them, listen to some of their testimony, and see if it helped or hurt the defense in this. Because these are all Commonwealth witnesses. And I was on Howie today, and it's like, if this is how the Commonwealth witnesses are going to go, oh boy, what are the defenses like? What's the defense attorney like? It's going to be bad. What are their witnesses going to be like? So let's go to Paul O'Keefe. Let's skip to him. Adam Lally's so slow.
Now, you mentioned that at some point your brother bought a second house in Canton, moved in there with the kids. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, we're going to skip this.
I want to say
occurred with reference to those plans as far as them coming to fruition.
a big snowstorm hit the area, and
celebration.
yeah, so I was with my wife and her family. We went to Aruba the day after Christmas in celebration of my wife's mother's 70th birthday.
Mr. Lally, does it make sense that I give an instruction at this point? I'm going to see counsel at sidebar.
Okay, the Aruba thing. All right.
Okay. So during that New Year's Eve, you were in Aruba for your wife's mother's 70th birthday, correct?
Correct.
And was your brother, Johnny, was he also in Aruba around that same time frame?
Yes.
And your resort and your brother's resorts, where were they in relation to each other?
They were pretty much on opposite sides of the island.
And at any point in time when you were in Aruba, did you see your brother at any point?
Unfortunately, we did not.
Now, you mentioned that you were there with your wife and your children. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know who your brother was in Aruba with around that same time?
He was with Karen Reed and brought the kids. So Kaylee and Patrick were with him. They were also with a large group, many other couples and families.
You know who was sort of the primary organizer of that group that your brother was with?
Yes, a friend of ours, Laura Sullivan.
And how did you know Laura Sullivan?
I knew Laura through my brother. She had dated my brother's partner.
Skip
and
Saraf.
friends.
You want me to skip
Matt
the
Rogers.
Saraf? Okay.
And did Miss Sullivan and Mr. Rogers have a child together?
Yes, and a boy.
And at some point, did Mr. Rogers pass away?
Okay, so this goes on and on. He doesn't say anything bad. Let me see if I can find a couple highlights of what Paul said.
Yes, I would estimate we were probably in the room with them for probably 20 minutes until we left.
And after about that 20 minutes, you come back out to the hallway, and where are you going?
Yeah, we went back to the waiting area, trying to figure out, can we leave? Do we leave? So yes, we left. My mother drove with me. My father drove with Kerry Roberts. We went from the hospital at Good Samaritan in Brockton back to my brother's house in Canton.
And if I could just take you back for a moment. So as you exit the room where your brother is and you come back out in the hallway, what, if anything, occurred at that point?
Again, we saw Karen Reed being restrained by hospital employees, screaming the same things: "Is he alive? Is he alive? Is he alive?"
At any points, either before or after, respond to any of that screaming that you heard from the defendant?
I actually blew her a kiss.
It's like what? Like what? He blew her a kiss. He blew her a kiss. So basically, Karen Reed was acting exactly as you would expect a person to act if they just found out that their, their boyfriend was found in the snow, unconscious, and he said that he liked Karen, that they did stuff together. You didn't hear a negative thing about them, just like some of their I don't understand the purpose of. And at the end, the defense had a chance to cross-examine him, and I think, let's see, did they come back from lunch? They had lunch, right? Okay. Oh, then we get to see the shot. Oh, this is my favorite part. Like, he shows all around the house. I don't know what the purpose of this was.
And the walkway that you were talking about that was behind the bush, do you see that in this photograph?
Yes.
Okay, if you could direct the jury's attention right
there. Oh, yeah.
So if you follow that walkway,
we're going to
sort of
skip
around
the
to
cross.
bush,
Don't worry.
Right to the breezeway.
So this is the part.
Mr. O'Keefe, what's up on the screen there? Do you generally recognize what's depicted there?
It looks like Karen Reed's vehicle, my brother's vehicle, and it looks like another SUV behind it. I don't know the two people.
If you could, just using the laser pointer before you, if you could just direct the jury's attention to which vehicle you're talking about when you. So starting with Miss Reed's vehicle, where is it in this video that you observed?
I believe it's that one right there.
And your brother's vehicle?
Is back there.
And the vehicle you're referring to is your vehicle? Where is it? And if you know, when about is this video depicting in relation to what you've described as the events of January 29th?
I mean, that would be in the morning, coming back from the hospital, mid-morning.
It's like, okay.
And as far as the people within this video, do you recognize any?
Yes, my mom. Yep. Watch his mom.
That'd be myself. I believe that.
So again, they want us to believe that this taillight right here, okay, is shattered into 35 pieces because she just killed him with it, right?
Behind me is.
And nobody noticed
𝗬𝗃 Roberts, because I believe that's 𝗬𝗃 Roberts' car. She drove my father back from the hospital to One Meadows.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just run the video.
Oh, it's my mother.
Doesn't notice it. And then Karen comes. Okay, so they come. Karen's family comes. There's the dad. There's the brother.
So this would have been the time that Ms. Reed, the defendant, arrived with her family from.
Okay.
Now, Mr. O'Keefe, with the last video, the two.
And then, okay, another car pulls up behind them, a truck. And then they get
where attempts made.
And then they get in the cars. And they leave. They just leave.
Yeah, with a shovel.
So initially,
we get to see.
So initially, with
and then we get to see.
So initially.
And there's Paul. There's Paul. There's Paul with the shovel. Yep.
Now, Mr. O'Keefe, you were at your brother's house on Meadows Ave for the majority of that day, correct?
Yes.
Okay. About how long were you there into the evening?
Yes.
Yes.
And at some point, were attempts made in and around your brother's house, driveway, the walkway, things of that nature, as far as snow removal was concerned?
At one point, other than me shoveling, Patrick's friend's father came with a snowblower.
And so initially, it was you shoveling. What if anything was your father doing while you were shoveling as well?
It was just me shoveling.
What the fuck? Who's shoveling? Like, what are we doing here, dude? Who cares? Oh, now he's gonna snow blow. And what does any of this has to do? Oh, there he's in a classic car.
He enjoyed it. He thought it was fun driving around, in a convertible. Nephew Patrick enjoyed, being driven to baseball games and whatnot.
Okay.
And it's so.
And your niece, Kaylee, how did she feel about it?
She did not like it. Still doesn't.
Thanks, sir. May I approach this with you, John? I have nothing further.
All right.
Mr. O'Keefe, sir, I have no questions for you.
All right, Mr. O'Keefe, you are all set, sir.
It's just
Thank
like,
you.
we're good. We're good. We don't need shit from you.
1 second, Joe.
All right. So now so Erin O'Keefe, we're gonna skip all hers because she says nothing interesting either. And we're gonna get to the big fat guy, Saraf.
Well, 27 years.
Now, were you working with the Canton Police Department on January?
It is, yes.
The lanes, are they divided by any sort of lines in the middle of it?
Yes.
And who, if anyone, owns or maintains that travel that you took from? You mentioned you were in the church parking lot next to the police station, correct?
That's correct.
And where is the police station located?
People on the lawn of in the snow, waving at me.
And initially, when you see these three people in the snow, do you have any idea sort of who they are, or male, female, anything like that?
There were 3 women, and I later learned there was a male subject on the ground.
And so when you initially are sort of approaching or getting to the residence, you indicate you see the 3 women waving at you. Could you see, or what, if anything, could you see the body at that point?
I saw that there was somebody on the ground, yes.
So you could see the 3 women and you could see a person on the ground.
That's correct.
And at some point, subsequent to this, did you learn the identity of the person on the ground?
I did.
And who did you learn that?
John
person?
O'Keefe.
And
Okay.
prior to this dispatch, did you know John O'Keefe in any way?
No.
Now, the 3 females that you saw.
Then I went back to my cruiser and tried to find the AED, which is an automated external defibrillator. Touch.
He was cold.
Now, when you did this, Mr. O'Keefe, you mentioned was sort of on the ground, correct?
That's correct.
And how was he sort of positioned on the ground?
He was lying on his back.
And as far as your observations of Mr. O'Keefe during this initial time when you're checking the pulse, what, if anything, did you observe sort of on him or around him or anything like that?
What did you observe?
I didn't really.
Let me ask it a different way. So as far as you mentioned that when you arrived there, it was snowing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And so how much snow was in and around or on top of Mr. O'Keefe when you first observed?
It was about, I would say about 6 inches on the ground. There was a light dusting on top of him, I would say.
And what, if any, observations did you make of Mr. O'Keefe? And
A
sort of
light
how was he dressed
dusting.
at this time initially that you
It's funny. He called it a light dusting. And what does Mullaney call it? 6 inches, right?
observed?
I don't recall what he was wearing.
Now, with reference to the residence at 34 Fairview Road, if you're standing in front of the house on the street facing the house, which side of the property was Mr. O'Keefe lying on his back?
As you're facing the house, it's to the, I'm sorry, go again. Can you say that again, please?
So if you're standing on the street facing the house, was Mr. O'Keefe more to the center of the property, the right of the property, or the left?
He was on the left of the property, yes.
Now, in addition to Mr. O'Keefe, in this sort of area on the left side of the property, what, if any, sort of other landmarks or other things that you observe on that side of the property?
To the left of the property, there was a fire hydrant, a bush, and a flagpole, I believe. To the left, to the farther left, like more near the property line, I would say.
Now, with reference to, mentioned that it was snowing out and there was snow on the ground, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
What, if anything else, did you note as far as the weather conditions, as far as?
Okay.
So you pull up in that area with the 3 females. Are they to your right or to your left?
Oh my God.
I pulled up.
I want to get to the part where I should add timestamps here. I'm looking for the time.
With
Looking for
regard to the 3 females you identified as Ms. Reed, Ms. McCabe, and Ms. Roberts, do you recall where they were in relation to Mr. O'Keefe, each of them, when you first sort of pull up and get out of the scene as well? Is that correct?
That is correct.
And of them, who, if anyone else, was on scene at the time that you arrived?
Come with an engine and an ambulance.
So to your recollection, it was at least an ambulance and an engine.
Oh my God.
What happened?
The FD, the fire department, came on scene, and they took over.
Now, when the fire department arrives on scene and they sort of take over,
Oh my
resuscitated
gosh.
us,
Oh my gosh.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
Okay, here we go.
and with that specific phraseology, that's
Hold on.
City got visibly upset. She
Here
kept
we go.
saying,
Here's the important part.
This is all my fault. This is
This
my
is
fault.
all
I
my
did this. And
This is my fault. This is my fault. I did this. Remember those words. This is my fault. This is my fault. I did this. Is that what he actually said, though? Let's find out, because I'm pretty sure we got receipts of this somewhere. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so just quick break here. Let's look what he wrote in his report. Because I know this case so goddamn well. I've read these documents a million times, and when I heard him say that yesterday, it's like, wait a minute, that's not what he said. I know what this motherfucker said. This is what he said. He said, following that, Reed kept screaming, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" She was severely distraught and was not able to tell me what happened. She was too distraught to say what happened. The only words that came out of her mouth were, "Is he dead? Is he dead?" Right? And that's consistent with what she was asking in the hospital to Paul O'Keefe, wasn't it? Is he dead? Is he dead? So if they want to play this game, again, what does Fat Boy say here?
Visibly upset. She kept saying, this is all my fault. This is my fault. I did this. And she was very hysterical. And she kept asking, he's dead. Is he dead? Is he dead?
And with that specific phraseology, that's something that she kept saying?
Yes.
And by your repetitive nature, I'm assuming it was something that she said more than once, correct?
Several times, correct.
Several times.
And when she's saying this, can you describe sort of how she's saying this? I mean, is it a whisper? Is it a scream? Or is it something?
She was yelling pretty good.
And
was
with regard
yelling
to
it
her
pretty good,
repetitive
yelling
question, as far as is he dead, what, if any, response did you provide to her in regard to that?
I just said they're doing the best that they can. I don't know.
Now, at some point, did you direct Ms. Reed, the defendant, to somewhere else away from Mr. O'Keefe?
Yeah, I tried to get her out of the elements. I put her in a car. I don't know if it was my cruiser or another cruiser there, but I had her sit in the back seat just to get out of the snow.
And did she stay in that cruiser for any?
She stayed in for a few minutes, and then she was like up and down, up and down.
So sort of in and out of whatever car you put her into?
That's correct.
When she would come out of the car, where would she go?
She was just walking around. From what I remember.
All right.
Now, with reference to Ms.
So anyway, so let me fast forward to some dash cam stuff there, because I thought that was a really interesting comment. And Lally decides to show some dash cam stuff, which I didn't know anything about until this very moment when they decided to show it. I love when they show these pictures, by the way, of Fairview.
And what's contained in that photograph, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed roughly when you arrived on that day?
Yes.
May I approach you?
Yes.
What's your attention? This is just the way to point. Yep. Try not to point it in the right. Basically, this button here, you just click on that. And that will shine right away. So from this photograph in exhibit number 8, sir, where Mr. O'Keefe's body was when he first arrived, is that visible in this photograph or no?
I would say it would be over more to the left.
Okay, so further off to the left, is that correct?
That's correct.
You were testifying earlier about sort of footprints in and around where Mr. O'Keefe was. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And what's depicted on the screen in exhibit number 14, is that fair and accurate portrayal of the footprints that you were talking?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Ron?
Yes.
So now I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit 18.
All right. Let's go to the dash cam.
What you recall as far as the sort of visibility and Ms. Gilman, if you could play what's now been marked as exhibit 25. And if you could just pause it right there, Ms. Gilman.
Yeah.
Officer Saraf, what's up on the screen? Is that what you recall as far as the sort of visibility and the roadway conditions when you first left the church parking lot?
Yes.
And this is you sort of leaving from the church parking lot as you're going to. So Ms. Gilman, if you could just let it run from this.
So here he is on Fairview Road. Okay, now look at this for a minute. So they want us to believe that Karen Reed couldn't see anything that was going on here. He's got bright lights on, just like Lucky Loughran would have had, even brighter lights from a higher position. And like all of the guests would have been coming from the other way, closer to the body. Now, watch this. Like they're right here, okay? So if you have your lights on, how can you not see a fucking body lying on the ground right there? Like right fucking there. Like right, he's right there. He's right there. You guys don't see him? How can you not see that body?
Now, Officer Saraf, this is you were testifying earlier as far as the vehicle in front of you that you observed first, and then sort of the parties off to your left as far as the three females waving and Mr. O'Keefe on the ground, correct?
That is correct.
And if you could, just using that laser pointer, direct the jury's attention to number one, where the vehicle is that you observed in front of you, and then number two, where you observed the three females and Mr. O'Keefe on the ground.
So here's the vehicle right there, and the females are right there.
Okay, so now, Ms. Gilman, if you wouldn't mind just running this straight through until about 7.5.
There's no way they wouldn't see that. So look how close they are to the house. She doesn't go in the house to get blankets. Doesn't go in. It's 6:10 right now. 6:10. John. Remember that from the 911 tape? Okay, see how she tries to like bring her out? Karen's like, get the fuck off of me. And then another officer arrives. Now watch this. So this officer is going to tell him, stand back. Now watch this. Okay, Karen runs away, showing genuine emotion. There's Jen. Look at Jen. She seemed bothered by this at all? Surprised? Nope. Karen's running around like with her chicken with the head cut off, going nuts. And look at Jen. And she's like, calm down. He's like, get the fuck off me, bitch. Look at Jen. Like, look at that. Cold ass motherfucker. Icy motherfuckers. Look at that. Bruh. Look what she's doing now. Talking, chumming it up with the cop. Chumming it up. Look at Karen. Look at her. Freaking out. Like doesn't have a jacket, like a warm jacket on or anything. Look at Jen. She's standing here talking to the cop next to John's lifeless body. Just standing there. Never tells the cop, oh yeah, that's my sister's house, by the way. They have blankets in there. Brothers of Boston cop. Just so the dash cam would not sync with the 911 call. I saw somebody just post that. They're not. The 911 call comes before, obviously, because Jen's out here and the cops are there. The cops were there. She wouldn't need to call 911, would she? All right. I mean, look at Jen. Look at, okay. What did I just do there? Look at her just talking to her. Keep in mind, look at her arms going. Can you guys see her arms going back and forth? Look at Jen's arms. She's going like this. Oh, yeah. So it's story, like she's telling a fucking story. What story is she telling? What could she possibly tell these cops right now? Yeah. So I got this crazy bitch called me up, said, let's go look for a body. And he said he was going to come over. I mean, why is she even talking about this? The man the man lying in the snow. Because she's planting the seeds, man. Because she is making sure that she controls the narrative. Who does Carrie call? Carrie is calling John's mother, believe it or not. Because that crazy bitch is like, let's wake up John's mom and be like, your son's dead. Because she just loves to be involved. I mean, Jen's just sitting there. Look at her. Look at her hand. She's telling a story. Look at that shit. Watch this some more. Look at, and compare her to Karen. These guys are back to John's body. Look at her. I think that's Mullaney she's talking to her now. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, there's a... Look at this. And look at Karen. Look, she's the only one looking at the body.
Just one moment, John.
Sure.
Like, isn't that wild? Isn't that wild?
I have no further questions to this witness, John.
All right. Will there be a cross-exam? Because this may be a good time to stop if there is.
There will be a cross-examination.
Okay. So jurors, we're going to stop for the day. I have to caution you, those same 3 cautions, please do.
Okay. So that's wild. Now, let's go to day 2. The cross-examination of Saraf. You knew this was going to be good. It's how it starts off.
In fact, it has.
That's correct.
Testimony yesterday.
I love when he does this. He does this thing.
Morning.
Morning, Your Honor. So remind you, you're still under oath.
Cheer. Yes, sure.
Now.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Officer Saraf. Good morning. Is there anything that you would like to change or amend or modify about your testimony yesterday that you thought about overnight?
No.
Did you discuss your testimony?
I love what a start that was. Is there anything you want to change or amend? Because I knew exactly what he meant by that. I'm like, oh, he caught that too. Obviously, he caught that too. Alan, this is what Alan Jackson is best at. Cross-examination. That's why she brought this guy on. He's the cross master.
Any person between the time you got off the stand yesterday and coming back to the courtroom?
No.
Officer Sheriff, I want to ask you a question about, or a couple of questions about something called a dispatch log. You know what a dispatch log is?
Yes.
What is a dispatch log? Can you describe it to the jurors?
Just notes saying what time calls come in and sometimes a short synopsis of what happened on the call.
It's an official document generated by the Canton Police Department, correct?
That's correct.
And it's kept in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
It's created at or near the time of the event that it's recording?
Yes.
And it's supposed to be accurate?
Yeah, yes.
Is that yes?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
sir.
And in fact, what it has is the dispatch details of the event that's in question. Whatever officers show up, what time they show up, the order in which they show up, the location to which they're dispatched, things of that nature, correct?
Yes.
This guy?
Have you looked at the dispatch log in this case?
No, I have not.
May I approach you on it?
Yes.
This has been pre-marked as Exhibit 27. Take a glance at that and tell me if you recognize that document.
Yes, sir.
How do you recognize it?
It looks like the log in question.
Oh, okay. So that's the dispatch log for what date?
The 29th.
Do you see your name somewhere on that dispatch log?
Yes.
To the right, one of the 3 officers that was called to the scene?
Yes.
And that looks like the dispatch log for the call out that you were testifying about yesterday. Is that right?
That's correct.
May I approach you on it?
Yes.
May I approach?
May I publish this as we
Yes.
discuss it? That is really small font. May I approach one more time?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not an eye contest.
That would not.
I should say. Sergeant Good all arrived to 32 Fairview that morning within 7 seconds of each other, correct?
32. Why?
That's what it says, yes.
It actually has Officer Mullaney arriving first at 6:09:26. You see that?
Yes.
And you see that it also has 3 seconds later at 6:09:29, you arriving. Is that right?
6:29 it says. Excuse me, it's 6:09, yes.
6:09 and 29 seconds.
Yes, I'm sorry, yep.
That's okay. And then it has Sergeant Good arriving 4 seconds after you at 6:09 and 33 seconds, correct?
Sure, yep.
So all three of you, according to the official document generated by Canton Police Department for this event, has Officer Mullaney arriving first, you arriving second, Sergeant Good arriving third, all within 7 seconds of each other, correct?
That's correct.
That is completely false, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you've looked at your dispatch,
Yes, it
your
is.
dash cam, correct? And clearly, we saw it yesterday. You arrive and there's nobody else on scene.
Correct.
That was at about 6:10 a.m. that you arrived, correct?
About that, yes.
And then Officer Mullaney actually arrives after you about 6:11 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
And Sergeant Good does not arrive, according to your own dash cam, until about 6:16, a little after 6:15.
Yep.
All right. So right off the bat, the official Canton Police Department dispatch log, one of the first documents generated in any investigative event, that's completely wrong, right?
The times are, yes.
Well, the times and the orders, right? I mean, not only did Officer Mullaney not arrive first, you arrived first.
That's correct.
And then he arrived.
Sure.
So that's two things that are wrong about just that, correct?
Sure.
And then it has Sergeant Good arriving 4 seconds after you, which is also incorrect.
Yep.
He didn't arrive until
No,
6 or 7 minutes after you, right?
Sure. Not in order, no.
Column where it's highlighted in green. Log, not your police report, apparently not Sergeant Good's, list 34 Fairview Road as the actual location where you responded that morning, correct?
See, I don't know if you guys can help me out with that. This whole 34 Fairview Road thing. I know in the dispatch it says 32 Fairview Road. I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's like it's not, I just don't think it's that juicy. I mean, it seems like a typo, doesn't it? Or am I off? It just seems like it's like one of those things where it's like, well, okay. I mean, what is the conspiracy there that they didn't want to embarrass Brian, so they put 32? I don't get it. I got it. Because can anyone help me out with this about what the scandal is here? So it's about appearances. Like, I don't think it's a typo. Even if it's not like, so what was the purpose of doing it wrong? Like, what is where is the scam here? Yeah. So like, I see that. So it seems like they're trying to keep Brian out of it, like on paper, right? So, but I don't get it. Like, I just don't. Okay. So suppose it was on purpose. What would that do? Like, what would that do? Like, what would that do? Like, the police would go to the wrong address and John would die faster? Like, I don't get what the, I've just never, a lot of people have pointed this out and I've never pursued this angle because I just don't get what's juicy about it. And even watching this whole cross, whatever, it's like, I still don't get it. I don't know. Just a thought. I don't get it. But anyway, a false paper trail. But what does that do? We there's no secret it's 34. We all found out, right? Like, it's like, it didn't take, some big journalist to figure that out. Yeah. All right. So let's play some more.
As far as I know, yes. Yes, sir.
Was there an effort on your part or anybody else's, to your knowledge, to mask the actual address of Brian Albert's house as 34 Fairview Road?
No.
All those were just mistakes.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Over and over and over.
Yes.
When you made contact with the victim and the women that you described yesterday, did you see any evidence that any of the women had been engaged in life-saving measures?
Yes.
What?
It looked like it, yes.
Okay.
Exactly it was, but it appeared that somebody was doing.
What about
purchase.
The third woman, Jennifer McCabe?
What was she?
They were all around the body.
Did you see Jennifer McCabe ever engage with John O'Keefe as he lay on the ground and assist in any life-saving measures?
Nope.
Did you witness that?
I don't recall.
But you do recall my client engaged.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't it true that Jennifer McCabe pulled you aside while my client and Kerry Roberts stayed with John O'Keefe and began engaging you in a conversation?
Yes.
And she was providing some sort of a narrative to you, correct?
Correct.
While the other two women are trying to save John O'Keefe's life,
maybe
she's talking to you.
For brief seconds, I would say.
For brief seconds?
Yes.
You saw that the dash cam video was those several minutes on the dash cam video where she's standing and having a conversation with you. Are those the brief seconds?
I don't know what time frame you're talking about.
What?
Right after you got there.
Right after I got there.
Correct. Did you ever see Jennifer McCabe do anything physically to help John O'Keefe?
No, I didn't see anything.
We watched the video already. He talked to her
Did
for
Jennifer
several
McCabe
minutes.
offer to you during that brief seconds that you described, this narrative that she was having?
Again, I don't know if I'm supposed to know anything about any dash cam videos or if they're going to show any more. But there's worse. I don't know anything about this, but I heard there's worse. I heard there's another video that might come into my possession anytime now. Or have had, I don't know. I forget. Actually, they have my phone, so they know it's in my possession, don't they? But I've heard that there's another video that shows when the ambulance arrives. First of all, the ambulance comes from the other way, the first one, and drops it like over here towards the driveway. They wheel it across the grass, the gurney, and they put him on there, and then they wheel him right past Saraf's car. Okay. And I heard that there's video of Jennifer McCabe when they start wheeling him out, turning her back on the gurney and refusing to look at it and just continuing to talk, doing the hand thing, talking to cops. I don't know anything about that, but I heard some such thing existed. I heard some such thing existed. Okay. Anyway, let me take a quick break to read a couple turtle chats here, shall we? Let's do that. All right, bang through some of these. We got first up. Not Matt McCabe. Grant Smith Ellis is on Twisted right now saying you used to cite his work all the time before Karen Reed. Is that true? I don't remember. I don't remember if I cited his work all the time. I have no idea. I also don't, Twisted Tragedies is like this. Is she the biggest scammer of all time? Like, she was the most obvious grifter ever. And if you're unfamiliar, there was this chick that showed up at my arraignment. I'd never seen her before. She wore like pajama pants and she smelled like Marlboro Reds. And, it's like, we got you back, Aidan. She sounds like she smoked a whole carton of cigarettes. And apparently she had some sort of YouTube show. And she was always like, yeah, so my fans are telling me to have you on. I'm like, your fans? Who are you? Like, sorry. And she was obvious. Like I looked into her and she had this whole history of GoFundMe scams and, a whole bunch of drug charges. She was a stripper at one point, kind of all this shit. And so she wore pajama pants to court. Oh, she was so ratchet. And the Turtle Riders were listening to her though. And I watched her show once for like, if you want to call it that, it's just her with, they called Twisted Tragedies. It's just her iPhone and just her talking about me and the guy. And then she started selling Turtle Boy merch, like taking my, like Jim Ferriss's Rude. I don't own Jim Ferriss's Rude, but I kind of, whatever, it was my thing, my sign. And she started just selling merch. And I'm like, who is this grifter? And she started this fundraiser for her boyfriend to go to Florida to play softball. And neither her nor her boyfriend had a job. He just wanted to play in a softball tournament. Okay. And so they were going to do that. And so I called her out on it. I did a stream just blasting her. And that was the end of her. She just immediately stopped streaming completely at all. And now, immediately after that, she suddenly, like people tend to do when I call them out, believed that Karen Read was guilty. And it's like they always have the same story, don't they? They always say, well, now that I looked at the evidence, you guys are in a cult. I only used to be in a cult. I was brainwashed for a while there because I'm simple and retarded and easy to manipulate. But now that I've started to think for myself, actually, the whole time it was right in front of me. Like, dude, it's just the same script. And so, let the grifting continue, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, so thank you for that one. Yeah, she was at the Karen Read Halloween fundraiser too. That's right. But she didn't pay. Somebody else paid for her ticket. And she was trying to fundraise herself. Remember, she was at, that's right. She was like, donate to my Cash App, buy me drinks, she was saying, at the fundraiser. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Anyway. Okay. So let's get back to this. All right. So thank you for that. Rose sends $10 and says, Adam Lally is so full of shit, even his bald spot turns red. Love you, Turtle Boy, and fuck the Securus app. Oh my God. I do not miss the Securus app at all. That thing. I don't know what it was like for you guys, but I would get like, I had a prison friend in there. I had a jail friend that, I would send messages like, so she would send me videos, like not bad video. You can't send the bad videos. And like, I wouldn't get them till the next day. It would take forever. And I would send messages and it would be like, I would get like 100 messages at once at like 2:30 every day, 2:30 PM. And it's like, I just couldn't keep up. It's not like emails where you just get them. They had to approve them all. Oh my God. It was such a pain in the ass. Horrible. Horrible. Don't miss that at all. So thank you very much. Next up, Lisa sends $50 and says, Aidan just donated. There's more where that came from. Check your Facebook Messenger. You have a huge following of supporters for you and the Karen Read movement. Kentucky Derby party to raise funds for Free Karen Read and myself, and MVP Turtle Boy fan Connie Wigmore from the uncorrupt town of Foxborough. Well, thank you very much, Lisa. I appreciate that. Courtney sends $20, says, why is no one talking about the whistleblower at the Canton meeting tonight, who I believe was sent by the feds and said they're fraudulently misusing government grants for the schools? I have no idea. I have no idea why no one's talking about that. I was busy. I was watching the Bruins. Thank you. Martha sends $25 and says, Daddy, next time you shout out to Karen going into court, say she looks classy. Dapper is for men like you in your suit and pink tie. She's classy, and McCabe and Albert women are dogs. One of the reasons they hate her. It's true. That's definitely true. Definitely true. Oh. Okay. Next up, Chris sends $50 after lulling us to sleep with all his paramedic class BS. Nutsack misremembered John's clothing. So Chris sends $50. Thank you. Nutsack misremembered John's clothing and also the location of the scratches on his arm, most well below the elbow. Don't tell us his memory was great regarding Karen Read's statements on scene while he was trying to provide airway breathing of an unresponsive victim. Fucking geek. We're going to get to him. So thank you very much for that, Chris. I have a lot to say about him. Adam Lally sends $5, says essentially, as far as sort of. He does love saying those things. Thank you, Adam Lally. Eric sends $10, says Turtle Boy derangement syndrome might be worse than Trump derangement syndrome. I agree, man. I drive people crazier than Trump, like way crazier. My people who hate me are more devoted than the people who hate Trump. I mean, it's close. It is pretty close. I'll give him that. But I think I got him. And all the corrupt law enforcement and all the trolls and the McAlberts to rot in the Turtle Boy graveyard when this is all over. Keep up the good work and free Karen Read. Thank you very much. Joe sends $50 and says, "Hi, Aidan. I met you this past Saturday in Taunton. Can you say hi to Wendy, Carrie, and Diane?" Yes, I can. I think I met all of them the other night as well. So thank you. Free Karen Reed and fuck Colin Albert. True that. True that. Nice to meet you the other night. Very nice to meet you, Joe. Thank you. Lunchbox sends $10, says, "Lally clears his throat more than a hooker, giving $5 blowjob specials on methadone mild." That's often. Don't ask me how I know that, but thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Any other, all right. Let's see. Any other, let me check my Cash App. Kerry sends $20 and says, "Sending bat signals to the Reeds to get you in." Yes, please, Reeds. Come on, hook it up. I've been pretty good. Thank you. Laurel sends $50 and says, "Keep fighting the corruption, Turtle Boy. Hashtag free Karen Reed." Thank you, Laurel. Sherry sends $25 and says, "Tick, tick, boom. You're a journalist," from Raleigh, North Carolina. Man, the turtle is spreading all over the country because of this story, isn't it? All right. All right. All right, cool. So if anyone else wants to donate, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. Okay. Now let me back to this.
This conversation she was having with you. Did she ever offer the fact that she was standing in front of her sister's house?
No.
Never mentioned that
Did
you're
she
in
ever
front of
offer
a
the
sister.
fact that her brother-in-law, who lives in the house, is a first responder?
Objection.
Sustained.
Why is that sustained?
Were you apprised at any time while you were out there that the homeowner was a first responder?
Objection.
Sustained.
Based on your observations between Karen Reed and Jennifer McCabe, which one of those women appeared to be more focused on trying to save John's life in the moment?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Ooh,
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Between Karen Reed and Jennifer McCabe, which one of those two women, based on your observations, appeared to you to be more focused on physically trying to save John O'Keefe's life in the moment?
At that point, it was Karen Reed.
You would agree with me, Officer Saraf, that in any investigation, details matter, accuracy matters, correct?
Sure.
No.
Reports
No, not at all.
are written in
Not
police
at all.
investigations in order to memorialize observations, things heard, seen, experienced by the officers, correct?
Yes.
And generally speaking, you're trained to write those reports and memorialize those observations as quickly as possible so that things are fresh in your memory.
Correct.
You don't want to write a report about an incident that you respond to today, 2 years from now.
No.
As a matter of fact, you're trained exactly the opposite. When you respond to a scene, somewhat important, you need to get it down on paper as quickly as possible for detail and accuracy, right?
Yes.
You did, in fact, write a report, a supplemental report for this investigation where you laid out your observations of that morning, correct?
That's correct.
These are called incident reports, correct?
Yes.
Take a look at the tab page
Mhm.
and tell me if you recognize what's on that page.
Yes.
You wrote in that report, quote, Karen Reed kept screaming, "Is he dead?
There
Is
we
he
go.
dead?"
They got my report.
She was severely distraught and not able to tell me what happened. Correct?
That's correct.
That approach?
Yes.
There was no limit to the amount of words that you could put on the page, correct?
No.
Matter of fact, there's a ton of white space. It's left unutilized, right?
That's correct.
You could have taken as much time as you wanted to in writing this report. Is that right?
Sure.
And is that yes?
Yes.
There was no reason to abbreviate anything. Is that right?
No.
And you tried to be as accurate as you possibly could in that moment?
Yes.
And put everything down in that report that reflected what you experienced, what you observed, and what you heard that morning, correct?
Yes.
And the only statement you attribute to my client on that morning, just hours after the incident or minutes after the incident, was she kept repeating, "Is he dead?" Correct?
Yes.
You were interviewed by Michael Proctor the next day.
The next day.
I don't know what day it was, but
Would it refresh your recollection?
Oh,
Take a look
Alan
at-
Jackson knows. Alan Jackson knows what
Sure.
day.
May I approach you on it?
This is a theme. As soon as Michael Proctor gets to you, your story changes. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Take a look at that report that's dated March 15, but reflects an interview on January 30, and then tell me if you recognize it.
Looks like his report.
Okay, that's that's Trooper Proctor's report of an interview that he did with you, correct?
Yes.
And if you look on the second page, paragraph about what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
That's highlighted?
I highlighted it for you, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell Trooper Proctor, let me withdraw that, ask it a different way. Were you trying to be as thorough and comprehensive with Trooper Proctor as you were in your own report?
Yes.
You weren't holding anything back in that interview, correct?
No.
You wanted to be as truthful and as honest as you possibly could?
Yep.
And as comprehensive as you possibly could, correct?
Yes.
You told Trooper Proctor that you could, quote, hear Karen Reed continually state, "Is he dead?" as the paramedics treated the victim. Officer Saraf then seen Karen inside her friend's vehicle, correct?
Correct.
So the only statement you attributed to my client the day after this incident was those three words, "Is he dead?"
Is he dead? That's it. Yeah.
Repeating.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yes. Thank you. May I approach?
Yes.
This whole thing reminds me of my cousin Vinny when he's like, "What do you call those little bushy things right there?" He's like, "Bushes, bushes, bushes." Good job. And what about those tall things with the branches and the leaves on them? Trees. Oh, trees. Yeah, trees. It's just like this. It's just like that, you know? Because it's Law Day. Apparently, it's a day called Law Day. I'd never heard of this before.
In the two times that you were asked to reflect back on exactly what happened that morning, on January 29th and January 30th, both times you attributed only three words to my client having been repeated continually in her distraught state. "Is he dead?" Right?
Yes.
And she wasn't saying that calmly, I'm assuming.
No.
Matter of fact, you used the word she was severely distraught. Is that right?
That's correct.
When you say severely distraught, we saw part of that over and over and over, correct?
Correct.
Then you were asked to testify in April of 2022, April
Changes the
14th,
story.
2022, at a state-run grand jury by the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Matter of fact, Mr. Lally was the fine prosecutor who was asking you the questions, correct?
Yes.
Between the time you wrote your report on January 29th and you gave a statement officially on January 30th, between that time and when you testified in April of 2022, do you have any meetings with anybody from the Massachusetts State Police?
No.
Do you have any meetings with Mr. Lally?
No.
Did Mr. Lally put you on the stand without talking to you first?
No. For this trial?
Nope. I'm just, the dates in question are up to April 14th, 2022, at grand jury.
I don't recall.
You don't recall if you met with either Mr. Lally or any of his contemporaries to discuss your potential testimony?
Not I don't recall meeting with him for that. No. One time I met with him in his office was a couple of weeks ago with this.
In preparation for this
weeks
testimony.
ago.
Correct.
Oh,
But your testimony now is that he didn't meet with you or you did not connect with him to discuss your
why does he need to
testimony
meet
before the
with them
April
to discuss his
grand jury?
testimony? Why?
I don't recall.
When you did testify in that grand jury,
So
you
basically,
changed your story, didn't you?
yes, he did.
No.
What? What do you mean, nope? Look, he goes,
You believe
no.
you testified completely consistently at that grand jury as you had in your
Liar.
report?
I testified for what I remember what happened, sir.
I see. Was your memory better in April than it was minutes or hours after the event?
Was it better?
Was it better or worse?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think your memory gets better as time goes on?
Not usually, no.
No,
No.
Usually it's the opposite, isn't it?
Yes.
Memories get foggy, they fade.
Yes.
Which is why you write reports the day of the incident, if you can, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what you testified to at the grand jury in April of 2022?
The whole thing?
No,
Oh,
sorry, that was a bad question on my part. Just as it relates to statements attributed to my client,
Yes.
what was your exact testimony in April of 2022?
I'd have to look at my.
Would it refresh your recollection if you saw a copy of your
Sure.
grand jury transcript? May I approach?
Yes.
In fact, on April 14th, 2022, months after this event, for the first time, you said, quote, and these are your words, tell me if I get them right. She, you know, this is my fault. I don't know.
She said
I
this
don't
was my
know.
fault.
She said, you know, I can't believe this happened. I mean, she kept asking if he was going to die, if he's dead. And, you know, I just basically said, you know, we're doing the best that we could, end quote.
That's correct.
May I approach?
Yes.
So in April of 2022, for the first time, you attributed the phrase, "This is my fault. I can't believe this happened," to my client, correct?
That's correct.
But nowhere in your official report did you say that.
That's correct.
And nowhere in your interview with Trooper Proctor the next day did you say that.
That's correct.
You think that was a pretty important omission on your part?
It was an oversight.
An oversight.
Yes, sir.
That a woman whom you made contact with, standing over the body of a fallen police officer, said to you, "This is my fault." Just missed that one.
Yes, yes, I missed it. Yeah, I didn't write it down.
Sure.
And then, of course, you testified yesterday, and your statement changed again.
Ooh,
Right?
again.
I don't.
Remember what you said yesterday? Please, yours.
He keeps adding shit on. Oh,
Word for word?
Well, I wrote it down. Let's see if this helps. Yesterday, you said, my client said, quote, "It's all my fault. I did
Bingo.
this," end quote.
$1 million
Remember
question.
that? Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't say that at the grand jury. And you didn't say that to Trooper Proctor.
No, sir.
And you didn't put it in your report.
That's correct.
That's correct. So yeah,
If you were to
basically,
testify in another 2 or 3 weeks,
it'd be a different. That's good.
I think your statement will just keep evolving.
Objection.
Sustained.
See, it's a good. I love that question.
Now I want to shift gears for a second and talk about what Ms. Reed actually said that morning. You said that you reviewed your dash cam video, correct?
Once.
This guy's such a.
Do you remember when you arrived, one of the first things out of your mouth was the question, "What happened?"
Yes.
That would be a natural question to
Sure.
ask, right? You assess the scene and assess the situation.
Absolutely.
And you would want to listen closely to what that answer was, correct?
Sure.
Sure.
Ms. Reed did in fact answer you, didn't she?
I don't recall what you said.
She said, quote, "My boyfriend, I left him and he never came home," end quote. Correct?
I don't know. I don't recall.
You agree, we've already agreed, that details matter in any investigation.
Absolutely.
They certainly matter in this investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now they're going to show. Okay, now's the good part. I did not know this was coming. Here we go. This is awesome.
This is about the 3:50 runtime. I'm not looking at the actual. I'm not looking at the actual time of day over here. I'm looking at the runtime, which is down at the bottom. So if Mr. Bates, you can put this. Can you pause it? Just to orient everybody, does this appear to be your dash cam?
Yes, sir.
Same dash cam you were looking at yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and play this, please.
Right there.
Officer Saraf, just like it's not an eye exam, it's not a hearing exam either. I'm going to do the best I can to raise the volume. And Officer Saraf, I want to focus your attention, if you wouldn't mind, on 9 seconds after you say what happened. Just count in your head and listen very, very carefully to the woman's voice that responds to what she says. Go ahead. Very, very hard to hear. Have you listened to that before?
No.
Does it appear to you, she said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home?
I couldn't understand anything.
Okay.
I want to hear that one more time. Oh, I heard it. Did you guys hear that? My boyfriend, I left him and he never came home. My boyfriend, I left him and he never came home. Interesting.
Very, very hard to hear. Have you listened to that before?
No.
Does it appear to you, she said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home?
I couldn't understand anything.
You can hear it if you're listening for it.
Let's replay it one more time.
You couldn't hear that? I could hear it. Listen very closely. I could hear it. You can hear it. Trust me.
Turn the volume on one more time right at that moment. Listen for a woman's voice just under. Sorry, I was asking Officer Saraf, please listen to, there's a din of noise, obviously, road noise, wind noise, etc. It's your dash cam, the audio from your dash cam. Once you close the door, listen very carefully, about 9 seconds after you say what happened, for a woman's voice, and see if you can make out what that voice says. Sure.
There it was. That was it. You guys hear that?
I left him and he never came home.
You hear that? I heard
couldn't understand what they were saying.
You couldn't understand that?
No.
Come on. I heard.
No.
I don't think it.
No. Turn the lights on, please.
No. Like what? I forgot about that part. Where was
now,
that? I definitely heard it.
If my client had said, my boyfriend, I left him and he never came home, would that be something that you would find important to put in your report?
Objection.
Sustained.
What? Oh.
Let's move to another area of the dash cam video.
How is that not in the report?
I'm going to keep playing it at
maybe
the 28-minute mark, 28-minute and 20-second mark or so.
So can I see Counsel 𝗬𝗂𝗧 for just a minute, please?
Oh, I also had it like time 1.5 times.
Does that appear to be two different perspectives, two different angles?
Yes.
But basically the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to the individuals to the left of the SUV right here. There's a person wearing a hood with fur on it. Is that Kerry Roberts? To your memory?
I don't know.
Okay. There appears to be another person with a darker jacket standing just in front of that person with the hood and fur. You see that person?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to focus on the person in the darker jacket.
Jennifer McCabe.
I believe, and the only reason I'm asking you to focus at this point is because I want to try to play this just once and see if you recognize what's depicted in the video.
Sure.
What I expect you may see is this person move out of sight behind the SUV, and then in the background, there's an SUV parked in the driveway. Pay special attention to that portion of the SUV and see if you see that person in the dark jacket pass from right to left in front of that SUV as if they're going to the house. Let's go ahead and play it. Go ahead and pause it. Have you seen the person in the dark jacket leave the view?
Yes.
Did she appear to go behind the SUV?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and play it. Go ahead and stop there. And now I'm going to ask to draw your attention to that car with snow on it.
I mean, this is so good, man. The little shit. This is how you get your money's worth with Alan Jackson. It's like the little shit that they pick up on. That 911 call, that little part at the end where she says, no one's coming outside to help. Or the other little shit about like Karen Reed saying that little part right there about, I dropped my boyfriend off and he never came home. And just noticing this. It's like this motherfucker has viewed this video so many times. Alan Jackson is one of those people. A lot of people work to live. Alan Jackson lives to work. Like this dude loves his craft. And just to find little shit like that, like this is impressive. Look at this.
Pay special attention to that car as the film continues to run. Go ahead.
There it is.
Do you see a person standing in front of the car?
It appears to be a person. Yes.
Walking from right to left?
Yes.
Would that be toward the house?
Yes, it would be.
Okay. And also, if you wouldn't mind switching your perspective, now you're looking more at the front of the house. Continue watching the film and see if you see that same person walking toward the house. Stop.
There she
You
is.
see that?
No, I didn't see. Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yes,
my
I saw the
God,
shadow.
this fucking guy.
Shadow person walking toward the front of the house. That was Jennifer McCabe going into the house, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Oh, come
Was it a
on.
person going into the house?
It was a person, yes.
Did you give anybody any permission to go into the house?
No, not my own.
Would you think that a witness in a homicide scene, go ahead and raise the lights, thank you. Would you think that a witness at a homicide scene being allowed to go into a house to make contact with other witnesses?
I didn't know it was a homicide scene, sir.
If I could finish my question. Do you think it's appropriate for a witness at a potential homicide scene, an unconscious person scene, whatever crime scene,
Yes.
to make contact with other witnesses and begin discussing the situation unsupervised?
Can you rephrase that question, sir?
Do you think that's an appropriate thing to have happen?
I have no answer for that, sir. I don't know what
The answer is no.
asking.
Officer
Not
Saraf, when you go to a
appropriate.
crime scene,
Yes, sir.
one of the first things that you'd want to do is secure the scene and separate witnesses so that interviews could be conducted, correct?
Sure.
You wouldn't want witnesses just cavorting together and getting their story straight, right?
Correct.
You'd want to avoid that at all costs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And why is that?
So they can't collaborate their story.
Yet there's a woman,
That's good.
sorry,
You
there was
got
a
him.
person
That's big.
walking from the area where a body,
What do you just got him to just say right there? It's just like, because you don't want them getting their story straight. That's just like, it's an admittance that like, I fucked up. That, what you just saw right there, that should not have happened. That should not have been allowed. I didn't know, like that is a big admission. This is the first cop that they have on it. This is a nobody. This is a minor. I mean, if they're catching this dude in lies, what are they going to catch the real fucking douchebags in?
he was found in the lawn of a house, walking into the house to make contact with other individuals, correct?
It appeared that way, yes, sir.
Does that seem appropriate to you?
No.
Of course not.
No.
We've talked a bit about what you did and didn't hear at the scene from my client. At any point when you were at that location, did you hear my client repeating the phrase, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him?
She said, I hit him? No, I didn't hear that.
No, didn't hear that.
You never heard her whisper it, yell it, say it, or otherwise?
Not that I recall.
If you had heard that statement, you likely would have written it down, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, seems like a big thing.
You likely would have reported that to
Not,
Super Proctor.
not one Canton cop heard that. Not one.
You likely would have mentioned it in your grand jury testimony, correct?
Yes.
And you did none of those things because you did not hear that statement, correct?
I did not hear that, no.
Sir, you were at 34 Fairview for more than an hour before you cleared the scene, right?
Yes, sir.
You were at the location of the body of John O'Keefe.
Did you secure it?
Yes.
In other words, you just didn't stay in your cruiser. You walked out to where John O'Keefe was.
No, I was in my cruiser at different times.
Must have been a bad question.
Okay.
You didn't just stay in your cruiser. At points, you got out of your cruiser, walked over, made contact with the women, and you were standing next to the body.
Yes.
And you were obviously looking around. You noticed some footprints.
Yes.
And you didn't even notice some lack of footprints.
That's correct.
So you were being observant at the area of the body
Yes.
and the area adjacent to the body.
Yes.
You were looking for anything that might have been out of place?
Yes.
Anything of any evidentiary value, correct?
Yes.
You never saw or otherwise observed, located a single piece of taillight material, did you?
No.
You certainly didn't see 45 pieces of broken plastic or taillight material, did you?
No.
You never located or otherwise observed John O'Keefe's missing shoe
No.
Yeah. This is
or any
big.
other clothing of his?
I didn't. No.
I mean, this is so big. They all admit this. Mullaney admits this too. There was no shoe. There was no taillight. Again, I wrote in my kind of summary of this, I took 3 takeaways from this, right? And let me read this to you, right? The entire case for the Commonwealth revolves around 3 primary things. The taillight, that's their physical evidence, right? That's number 1. That Karen did it because the taillight, she hit him with the taillight, the car, this taillight there, must have been her, right? So taillight is number 1. So they got physical evidence. That would be that. Number 2, she says she did it, right? She says, I did it at the scene. So that's a confession, except they didn't arrest her for it. And number 3, she had the motive to do it because she's mad and crazy. Those are the 3 things. All 3 of them, all 3 of those things were debunked within 24 hours by the Commonwealth's own witnesses. I'd like to point that out. What a self-own this is. What an own goal. We got the taillight has been debunked by the 2 cops. Both of them get up there and go, there was no taillight there. There was no taillight there. I would have asked them, I'd be like, are you aware they found taillight later? Like, are you blind? Because the state police would have us believe, it would have been an objection probably, but the state police would have us believe that there's all this taillight there. Are you lying or are they lying? Who's lying here? Did you miss it? What's up with that? So they've debunked the taillight thing. As far as the admitting she did it at the scene thing, both Saraf and Mullaney, and then you're going to see Good and the others, all one of them says they heard her say I did it. Not one of them. We've got this jamoke in a lie. I don't know if we call a lie or just, it's a proctorism. Like, you say one thing, you have your original thought, and then you talk to Michael Proctor, and then you have a whole different thought. It's a weird thing. They all are like this. They say something, and then they talk to Michael Proctor. They have an interview with him, and then they say something completely different. Karen Reed's story doesn't really change. These guys do constantly. And the fire guy, the EMT guy is the same way. And he's like, yeah, that motherfucker tricked me. Look at that face. That guy tricked me. God damn it. And on top of that, the whole Karen's a crazy ex thing. John, Paul, and Erin O'Keefe say not really. Not really. Now, people are saying the phone. So Jen McCabe's phone, or John O'Keefe's phone moves at around 6:35, which is when she went in that house, which is interesting timing. I'd like to point that out as well. But back to this.
Officer Saraf, did you ever think to look inside the house?
No.
That missing shoe?
No.
That never crossed your mind?
No.
Why
You think
not?
that might have been a smart thing to do at the time?
Objection, Your Honor.
Rephrase the question.
Sure. Do you think that would have been appropriate protocol when dealing with a body laying on a lawn that is partially unclothed to look inside the house of the lawn?
No.
What?
You didn't think that would have been an appropriate protocol
No.
Why not?
for you or anybody else?
No.
Why not? He's determined with that one.
Obviously, you did not conduct a search of that house, did you?
Nope.
Why not?
And you're aware that to this day, no law enforcement officer ever conducted a search of that house?
I'm not aware of that.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
No further questions, Joe. Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Lally? Okay.
All right. So real quick, check out this Twitter account I found today. I find a lot of good. There's a lot of good. I should make like a top 10 Karen Reed Twitter follows for this. Number 1 would be Olivia Lambeau. Number 2, I think, would be Lena DeTurtle. Is that her name? Lena Del Turtle. She's great. It's great Karen Reed, info out there. But this one is a new one I found today. And I want to bring this one up because she had a lot of good clips. It's at KJRN2510. She did a good job today assembling some clips. And so this is Officer Mullaney, his testimony. Now, this guy came across as less of an asshole than Saraf, younger. Just listen to him. Listen to what he says here.
What other officers were in that area sort of watching what was going on or participating in the search for what was going on?
I don't necessarily recall where everybody was, but I believe it would be Sergeant Link and Sergeant Good.
And they were superior officers, correct?
Correct.
And you understood that these brother officers of yours were looking for evidence, right?
Yes.
They were looking for clues about potentially what had happened to John O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
And you were paying attention too as they were doing their work, correct?
Yes.
You were looking for anything that might have been out of place, correct?
Yes.
If there was something large there that didn't appear to, be appropriate for a front lawn, you would have made note of that, correct?
Yes.
And if there was something small there, you would have still made note of that if it didn't appear to belong on a front lawn, correct?
Yes.
At any point in time, either before or after the leaf blower was taken out by Lieutenant Gallagher, did you see 45 pieces of bright red, black, and clear plastic
45
scattered all over the scene?
I did not.
Did you find or see even one piece of broken plastic?
I did not.
Setting the stage. Didn't see one piece. Now, then was this guy. Now, a lot of people had thoughts about this dude. He seemed like a nice enough guy. And when I'm sure the McAlberts were loving his testimony at first because he said that, after 45 minutes of hearing this guy's fucking bio, oh my God, if no more firefighters, please. And I'm not just saying that because they're all going to say that she said I did it. I'm not just saying that. But it's like, I can't listen to Lally walk them through their LinkedIn profile. I can't do it, man. It's too much. This is a murder trial. It's supposed to be exciting, putting me to sleep. So this guy, there's no side with this guy. This guy was ambitious. That's a good word. Hungry, loves his job. And I made a joke about it earlier, and I'm not trying to crap on the guy. I'm like, this guy loves the fact that he's got a captive audience that has to listen to him talk about his job. You ever been around those people that they want to talk about their work a little too much and just bro, I don't give a fuck that much. I was just being polite. I was just asking you what you do for work, man. I don't need to hear all that. This guy loved to talk about his work. And he's just oh, now they have to listen to me. And I'm not crapping on the guy for that. But you can tell this guy loves his job and loves to talk about his job, right? And now you have to listen to him talk about his job. He's one of those guys. And he's like, yes, this is the greatest moment. Everyone, fucking millions of people are going to let me talk about my fucking job and what I do every day. He's proud of good for him. Good for him. Yeah. Hello, Mark. How you doing? Down in Miami. Stuck in traffic. So could be worse. Could be worse. Okay. So let's play some of this guy's thing. So Timothy Nuttall, a highly skilled field trainer, key points of his testimony in cross. Let's listen to some of the clips.
The injuries that you observed on Mr. O'Keefe's right arm, were those injuries that were actively bleeding at the time that you observed them?
No.
What, if anything, did you observe as to that in reference to those injuries on the arm?
Those injuries seem to have been congealed. In my opinion, it looked like they'd been cold, which could have aided in the clotting of
the injuries that you observed on Mr. O'Keefe.
Okay,
briefly again to the arm. These were injuries that you observed on his right arm. Is that correct?
Correct.
What, if any, injuries did you observe on his left arm?
I don't believe I saw any, to my knowledge.
And as far as your memory, as far as his right arm, how far did it sort of extend, and where was it located? Sort of upper arm, lower arm, both, or where was it?
I believe it was just below his shoulder. They ran, I would say, probably 3 or 4 inches from, I would say, about the shoulder right down to maybe 2 inches above the elbow.
Interesting. Okay.
Make sure.
I guess what I'm asking is your attention is focused on some of those details for sure.
Correct.
And that's how you remember that big heavy coat that he was wearing, correct?
I remember he was appropriately dressed, correct.
Okay. As a matter of fact, you testified to that in the grand jury that, quote unquote, he had a heavy coat on.
Yes.
Consistent with how you're testifying today. Is that right?
Correct.
All right.
Except he didn't have a heavy coat on.
Hand in hand.
But the word that you used was scratches.
Yes, there were like furrows down.
Say that again?
Furrows, if you will, for lack of a better term. Just
I don't understand that word.
so if you remove something, like if you create a furrow in the skin, is that?
Furrows.
Yes, there you go. Sorry, excuse my accent.
No. I'm on your turf.
Fair enough.
It's my accent. I'm so sorry. Boy, that one.
This Alan knew exactly what he
Hey,
was doing.
my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, got it.
My cousin Vinny. Interesting. I guess because this trial is similar to my cousin Vinny in several ways. Particularly, I shot the clerk that line. He did it. I hit him. But this is interesting. Just watch this exchange about the furrows. I've never heard of this term before.
Hand in hand.
But the word that you used was scratches.
Yes, there were like furrows.
Look at it. Look at the way. Look at his hand movement. Like furrows. A gash. A furrow is like when you dig in, pull. That's a furrow. That is not an abrasion. An abrasion is when your skin kind of goes across something like this and cuts the whole thing. It's not like a scratch. It's when your kid falls off their bike. It's just so obvious. Another word for a furrow is like a laceration, kind of. A little bit. A scratch.
Down.
Say that again?
Furrows, if you will, for lack of a better term. Just
I don't understand that word.
Notice he did the arm motion there. He did the arm motion shit. So that was good. How about this?
You recall even looking sort of in that area?
No, I think he was in front of me, so I wouldn't have seen what was under him.
And so after Mr. O'Keefe is taken by members of the fire department over to the ambulance, what is it that you did?
Officer Saraf, at that point, we were trying to identify the victim, so I spoke to Ms. McCabe.
And without sort of anything that Ms. McCabe told you, about how long period of time did you talk to Ms. McCabe gathering information?
Approximately 2 minutes.
And who, if anyone else, did you speak with attempting to gather information regarding this?
Talk to
Ms. McCabe's the only one I recall speaking to.
only one I talked to is Miss
Now, as
McCabe.
far
The
as,
only one.
defendant, Ms. Reed,
The only one.
what, if anything, do you recall her sort of doing as you're on scene and as you're going about what you're trying to do?
She was screaming, is that my boyfriend? Is he dead?
When you say screaming in a fairly loud voice, correct?
Very, very loud, yes.
And as far as that sort of phraseology, as far as is he dead, how many times was that something she said? Once, more than once, or something?
Repeated many times.
And with the same sort of volume that she had said it with, as you described the first time?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, I mean, let me go back to the video. Let me get a drink real quick. Hold on. Be right back. Hold on. All right. So real quick, I want to watch this guy again. We're going to skip the Mullaney's kind of says the same. He's very similar to Saraf, except he came across as more honest, in my opinion. Now let's get to this guy. So after they talked to him,
post getting your certification in regards to
oh my God.
Multiple people were performing CPR, and eventually a mechanical CPR device was applied. Those
So I want to get
compressions were uninterrupted.
I'm going to get to Alan Jackson's cross-examination of him here quick about what he gets him to say.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 14.
Both?
So typically, when we remove clothing in the back of the ambulance, it's generally done with trauma shears. So we will expose and then kind of fold over. That clothing is then usually left in place. We'll do a quick roll just to check the back of the patient, and then he's usually rolled back if there's nothing found, and it's typically left there. In terms of like big puffy jackets, if you cut a puffy jacket, it just makes quite the mess. So yeah, exactly. It's a disaster. So typically those bigger jackets are just removed, and that is when we removed that type of article of clothing, that's when we noticed that his hands were quite rigid.
So that's what happened in this case. You removed the big heavy jacket, discarded it, got it away from the body so you could better assess the injuries.
Correct.
And it was only then, after you removed this big heavy winter coat, that you could assess that his hands were stiff and cold.
We noted the hands, but it came more into light, if you will, when we removed that coat.
Got it. And you have as good a memory about that as you do the rest of the scene that morning.
In terms of removing the article of clothing?
Correct.
I did not remove any article of clothing. I was ventilating.
But you remember him having the big jacket on?
Correct.
Okay. And you remember that as well as you remember the other specifics of the incident?
Yes.
Okay. When responding to a scene, I want to dovetail on the same subject, but just come at it in a little bit different way if you indulge me. When responding to a scene, one of your jobs has to be to sort of immediately take note of and assess the situation of the patient that you're dealing with, correct? A motorcycle accident is going to be very different than a drowning.
Exactly.
Someone in this case exposed in a snowbank, you're going to deal with or assess and note the weather.
Actually went directly to cardiac. Make sure.
I guess what I'm asking is your attention is focused on some of those details for sure.
Correct.
And that's how you remember that big heavy coat that he was wearing, correct?
I remember he was appropriately dressed. Correct.
Okay.
Big heavy coat. He wasn't wearing a big
As a matter
heavy
of fact, you
coat.
testified to that in the grand jury that, quote unquote, he had a heavy coat on.
Yes.
Consistent with how you're testifying today. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. Ron, I'd like to mark 2 photographs as next in order.
Nice crowd we had tonight, huh? Big crowd.
160.
It doesn't matter so much the number, but why don't you just show the prosecutor the photos?
161 and 162 in order. May I approach?
Yes.
Being removed.
Okay. But you don't remember this clothing?
Being removed.
John O'Keefe is wearing when you found him?
I don't recall, sir, to be perfectly honest.
May I approach him?
Yes.
Do you recall this being part of, let me ask you a different way. Do you remember somebody cutting this off of John O'Keefe at the time?
I remember the clothing being removed.
Okay. But you don't remember this clothing?
I could say that he had clothing removed, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it was.
And you just looked at these. What I'm holding in my hand appears to be the front and back of a.
So don't hold it up to him from that distance where he said he doesn't recognize it. You can put it back in front of him. Don't hold it up for the jury, please.
May I?
Yes.
She hates showboating.
That appeared to be a thin cotton hoodie.
He's like, oh, wait, there was no puffy coat.
Yeah, that appears to be a thinner layer of clothing.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
Not a heavy coat.
Not a heavy coat.
Fair.
Not a winter jacket.
Yep. So I was wondering what this was all about at first. The whole, like, it's like, oh, so it's like maybe you get details wrong sometimes. If you get something as simple as what he was wearing wrong, maybe you didn't hear him say, maybe you didn't hear her say, I did it, you know? Maybe you didn't hear that. Wouldn't that be odd to notice this guy? It's a blizzard. This guy's just wearing like this kind of light pullover thing. Kind of odd. He got shook here. He's like, yep, you got me.
Is it fair to say you had a lot on your mind when you were out of that scene, correct?
In terms of just
saving a man's life.
Correct.
That's your credentials are impressive. You were there focused on one thing, and that is trying to make sure that a man did not die.
Correct.
Would you agree that that was your primary concern and your primary focus the entire time you were at the scene?
Correct.
You weren't necessarily worried about what other individuals were doing, correct?
No.
If I asked you right now off the top of your head, tell me exactly the number of law enforcement officers that were there at the scene, probably couldn't tell me, could you?
No.
If I asked you whether or not you remember every single civilian that was at the scene, probably couldn't tell me, correct?
Outside of the 3?
Outside of the 3.
Correct.
Any other civilians?
Not that I noted.
Okay. Matter of fact, you can't even identify the 3 civilians other than generally middle-aged, 40s, Caucasian, female.
Correct.
You said all 3 of them sort of looked alike, right?
without the only defining feature on one of the individuals was one of the individuals did have blood on their face.
So some of the specifics of that scene, you didn't pay special note to, correct?
No, we were focused on patient care.
Is it fair to say that, specifically as it pertains to what the victim was wearing, your memory might be a little faulty where that's concerned?
Sure.
Okay. I mean, nothing wrong with that. You were focused on something completely different.
Correct.
So
you did notice
maybe-
certain injuries on Mr. O'Keefe's person, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated on direct examination that once you got him into the back of the ambulance, you, as you put it, you had a quote unquote much better picture of what you were dealing with. Is that right?
Correct.
You testified at the grand jury that you noted that once he was in the back of the ambulance, under better lighting, you were able to tell that he had trauma to the right side of his head.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Are you talking about the major trauma that he suffered to the back of his head, or the egg that you earlier described?
I was more just because it was directly in front of me. It was on the front side of his head.
Okay, so it wasn't the right side of his head. If you said right side of your head, you might point above your ear, right? That's not what you're talking about.
Oh, I can't.
I was, and to use my person, I would say right here. So it's more towards the right, above his right eye.
Right of center,
give it
but
to
still
me.
on the front of his head.
Correct.
Come in my pants.
And you did not make any note of another injury on the back of his head.
No.
You talked about the injuries to the right side of his arm, correct? You noted that those injuries appear to be scratches.
Yes.
That's your word, not mine, right?
Correct.
Scratches. Well,
You didn't
furrows.
say that those were blunt force trauma.
No.
You didn't say that they were abrasions.
Nope.
Scratches and abrasions, in my point of view, seem to go hand in hand.
But the word that you used was scratch.
He like, see what I mean here? Like, he's just wants to be like, he knows what's up. He knows what if he answers, yeah, the scratches, he knows what that means. He knows that means it sounds like a dog did it, right? And so he's like, no, he knows what the medical examiner said, abrasions. So he's, no, scratches and abrasions go hand in hand. They really don't. They're not the same thing. A scratch is not the same thing as an abrasion. It's just not. They're very different.
Yes, they were like furrows down.
Say that again?
Furrows, if you will, for lack of a better term. Just
I don't understand that word.
He didn't want to.
So if you remove something, like you create a furrow in the skin. Fair enough.
Right. So when you said furrows, you made your hand in almost like a claw and drug it against your right biceps.
Objection.
Sustained.
A claw.
Can you
He
repeat
said
the
a
movement
claw.
that you did
A
for the
claw.
jurors, and you said furrows.
Objection.
Sustained.
Oh,
Just move on to the next question, please.
did you hear what they said there? Because he knows, dude. When Alan remembers that he went like this. He's like, can you do that again? And he's like, objection sustained immediately. Immediately.
You would agree that a very common cause of a hematoma over one's eye is being hit or punched.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
You said that Mr. O'Keefe did have such a hematoma over his right eye, correct?
Yes.
Did you also see a laceration under the eyebrow but above the lid on his right eye?
I don't recall.
Did you see a laceration on Mr. O'Keefe's nose?
I don't recall.
You did note that there was some blood on his nose, correct?
Correct.
Is that possible that came from a small laceration?
Yes.
Next question, please.
In the front. Did it also have a black eye on the left side?
If memory serves correct, yes.
So both eyes were blackened.
Primarily the right side, if memory serves.
Okay. And the laceration toward the right side?
Yes.
Of the right eye. Are those injuries that you just described consistent or inconsistent with some sort of physical altercation?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Sustained.
Did it appear to you, just from your initial assessment, given your experience, training, and background, that those injuries looked like he had been in a fight?
Objection.
I'll see counsel at 𝗫𝗄.
And I think he lets him say yes. I think he lets him answer this question.
Experience, the product or the injuries that can be produced from fist fights?
Yes.
Okay. Injuries to the face?
Yes.
Injuries to the mouth? Yes. Injuries to the nose?
Yes.
To the ears?
Yep.
To the eyes? Defensive wounds on the hands?
Yes.
Did you note we've already talked about, I don't want to go over all this again. You've already noted what the injuries to the face were that you saw Mr. O'Keefe having suffered.
Yes.
Were those consistent or inconsistent with a physical altercation?
I couldn't say.
Were they consistent or inconsistent with being in a fight?
I couldn't say.
Was that egg over his right eye consistent or inconsistent with him having been punched or hit?
I couldn't say.
I thought you said that one of the common causes of an egg like that, a hematoma, as you put it, over someone's eye, is being hit or punched.
There's quite a few reasons that somebody could get an egg, such as that over their head. I mean, you could get hit with a golf ball,
of course,
for instance.
I'm not asking you to the exclusion of everything else. I'm asking you, is it consistent?
It's consistent. It could be.
Okay. And the other injuries as well?
Correct.
Okay. Did you see bruising to the back of one or both of his hands?
His hands were, as stated, they were very cold, very white. They were not well perfused. And when you don't have adequate perfusion,
all right. So we get the point there, man. This is day 1 and 2 in the books. And honestly, I mean, this is the warm-up show, man. We haven't even gotten to the good shit. It's been interesting so far with like people you never heard of before. Saraf, Mullaney, this dude, 𝗫𝗏𝗏. This other dude is still been doing his and one part he mentions is that, like, we've been talking about this around the firehouse like every day. And that Proctor doesn't come to him until February 8th. And he never tells, like, he allegedly heard Karen say, I did it, and never went to the police with that information. How is that believable? You heard this woman confess to a murder, and you didn't think to pass it on to first responders? That you heard her say, I did it? You didn't tell anyone? Until Michael Proctor interviewed him on February 8th, which was 1 week after Karen Reed was arrested and charged with manslaughter. And what was all over the news at that point? This woman is arrested. She allegedly said, I did it. How do we know she said I did it? Well, Jennifer McCabe was the only person saying that, because she called Michael Lank back at 9 o'clock in the morning and said, oh, yeah, I remember she said I did it. And Karen was in the hospital. She couldn't deny it. She was showing genuine emotion, and they took advantage of that, man. It's evil. Evil, 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 evil. What happened there? So, and he said that they talked about around the firehouse. So, I mean, people ask how a conspiracy, how can this many people be involved in a conspiracy? It's not hard. It's just Michael Proctor getting in your ear and saying, maybe you said this. And then other people just talking, and it just becomes fact. It's like, yeah, that's what she said, right? Yeah, that's what she said. No. Nope. So that's where we're at. And imagine if we get Jennifer McCabe on the stand, Michael Proctor on the stand, Brian Higgins on the stand. What kind of shit are they going to say? Brian Albert. And these are the Commonwealth witnesses. Think of what the defense witnesses are going to say. Lucky Loughran, Ryan Nagel. Oh, goodness gracious. Imagine I was called. All right. Let me read a couple turtle chats here. First up, we got a few to bang through here. Rose sends $10 and says, Adam Mullally is so full of shit, even his bald spot turns red. Love you, Turtle Boy, and fuck the Securus app. Yes. Elisa sends 50 and says, Aidan, just wait, have I read all these? I read these. Hold on. Hold on. I've read these all. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. I definitely read that one. I don't know if this just isn't donate. This is updating. Okay, I got a few here. All right, Bradford sends $25 and says, Peggy O'Keefe may be flipping to Karen's side. She mouthed the words "nope" along with Yannetti at the end of the opening series. Trust me, Peggy O'Keefe is not. We all saw the "nope" thing, but she'd heard this script before, and that's why she said that. I don't think she's flipping at all. She never will. Too much. She's an old lady, man. Old ladies have too much pride. No way. All right. Meg sends $10 and says, shout out to Nick Rocco for killing it on Court TV. Yeah, he's been doing great with Joe Krowski. That's Colin Albert's lawyer, you know. He was representing him back when he got to the grand jury. It's funny he didn't mention that. So that's cool. Thank you. Peter sends $5. Says, after watching the first 5 witnesses, the only thing I know for sure is that Lallie has a shoveling fetish, or maybe just a general snow removal fetish. Hope you get your $60 million for the turtle napping by the Commonwealth. Yeah. Nice seeing you in Taunton too, Peter. I appreciate that. All right, next up. NDF sends $5 and says, so was Jen McCabe Googling as she is on camera walking in the house because she did not expect the EMTs would be taking Officer O'Keefe to the hospital still alive. He was not pronounced dead at scene, which he may have expected. Was she Googling as she is on camera walking in the... No, she Googled that 10 minutes before. And she did it because she was covering up the previous Google at 2:27. So thank you. Next up we have here, let's see, any other, do we have any cash apps? All right, let's see, cash app. Laura sends $10 and says, nope, Karen didn't do it. Nope, I agree with that one. Stephanie Brown sends $10 and says, check your Facebook messages. Funny pic and clip of Plev. Okay, I'll check that out. Solomon sends $5 and says the only thing he remembers is how to say is sure. Sure, that's true. Stephanie sends $10 and says, I left a family member's wedding to see you Saturday. That's dedication right there. Stephanie, great seeing you the other night. Thank you. Appreciate that. Great fan base we have here at Turtle Boy Daily News Industries. If anyone else wants to donate, link is at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. Okay. All right. What did I miss here? Oh, you know what I was going to talk about real quick before end the night? So this Surviving the Survivor thing. I like this guy. Joel, he seems like a nice guy. But I didn't really appreciate his guest who lied. And I played this on the morning and it pissed me off again. Listen to this shit. This idiot. We all need to write to this woman. Well, like,
with other guests. But personally, I never, and most reporters, people who pretend to be journalists, they don't want to involve themselves in the story, but he's really become a big part of this story. I'm curious, what do you make of his involvement? It was also revealed that he was having a lot of phone conversations with Karen Read herself. That
who cares?
Reportedly,
and like, how did they find out I was having conversations with Karen Read? Like, that's the bigger story. Is the police just decided to arrest a journalist as a pretext to take his phone and go through it and see who he was talking to. That's how they and then men with guns went to this woman's house and took her phone for the crime of talking to Turtle Boy because they were on this wild goose chase to try to, prove that Turtle Boy was being directed to intimidate witnesses by Karen Read, and nothing happened and nothing came of it. Somehow.
He was given a car, all sorts of things.
He was given
really
a car.
driven a lot of the narrative.
He said he was
from
allegedly.
his perspective, he's done a really good job. He's gotten the word out there. But
so he didn't say I was given a car, that I was allegedly given a car. According to who? Nobody has, literally no one is. I mean, that when I was first told that this was what Tully was investigating, was this, I laughed, man. I laughed. It was right before Christmas. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are retarded. They're going to Turtle Boy got a free car route. And I'm like, good luck to them. But now I see why they're doing it, because gullible people like this will just go along with it. Now listen to this woman. Listen to this idiot. Her name is Jennifer Roman, and she is the legal analyst for WBZ. And listen to what she says.
But it's been pretty one-sided. Curious about your thoughts.
Yeah. So the reports are that, and it's actually confirmed that Karen Read's brother bought a car for Turtle Boy.
It's actually confirmed that Karen Read's brother bought a car for Turtle Boy. Not like Maybe it is confirmed. She just said that she's a legal analyst, a trusted legal analyst. It is confirmed that Nathan Reed bought me a $55,000 vehicle because he likes me, my reporting, I guess. He's my sugar daddy. What? Confirmed by, where is this confirmation? First of all, I shouldn't even have to disprove this. I can in 5 seconds. It's been disproven by the investigation itself. Like, Tully found the check that I wrote from my personal account. They took my goddamn bank records. This is libel, or slander rather. So I want Jennifer Roman to know that. I'm going to need you to take that back, Jennifer Roman, because you know how slander works. What you just said is slanderous, and people trust you because you didn't say this is your opinion. You said it's a matter of fact. Matter of fact.
And then there are reports that Karen Reed was providing him with information that had not yet been made public. It was part of the investigation, sort of stuff that she would have known. So look, I think it's so important that we have a healthy, balanced discussion and different opinions like we've been doing today, and like we've been seeing in the chats. What concerns me is when somebody like good is representing things as truth when they haven't been vetted and they haven't been proven to be true. That's not good journalism, right? That's
like she just said that she doesn't like it when people like me say things that have not been vetted and have not been proven to true. 30 seconds after saying something that was not vetted and not true, that I was given a free car by Nathan Reed. She just makes it up. Makes it up.
It's just sensationalism. And that's what concerns me about some of his quote unquote reporting, is that it was not actually factually correct.
I bet you this woman can't name a single thing, not one thing I've ever reported that's not correct. I bet she can't. I don't know who she is. She knows who I am because I'm important and she's not. I'm somewhat well known. When I go out to dinner, people know who I am. People ask to take pictures of me. I'm not full of myself or anything like that, but let's keep it a buck here. I'm somewhat relevant. People know who I am. People recognize the importance of my work. And that is why people ask to take pictures with me. And that is why people ask me to sign my book and buy my book and buy Turtle Boy shit. Because I'm good at what I fucking do and I always bring receipts. I've never heard of Jennifer Roman before. I don't know who she is because she's not relevant. She's not relevant at all. I don't know who she is. Nobody knows who she is. She's talking about me. And you know why she's talking about me like that? Because she's jealous. Because she's jealous. She's like, who is this guy? He cut the line. I went to law school. I'm a legal analyst. I did the way he's supposed to. I got on TV the old-fashioned way. This guy, he just used talent and hard work to get there. That's not the way you're supposed to do things in America. You're supposed to wait your turn like she did. And no, I will not ignore defamation. I will not. I'm not going to allow people to lie about me like that and not call them out. Because she's on TV. Like she's a legal analyst for WBZ. They got a shit ton of money, don't they? You can't go on WB. You can't be saying shit like that. It's just a lie. I just want to point, Jennifer Roman doesn't have a show where 4,000 people are watching it live at 11 o'clock on a freaking Tuesday. She doesn't have that because no one would ever watch her old crusty ass. But people will watch me and listen to me because I bring receipts and I'm charming. Okay. And I have a wonderful personality, a bubbly personality. That's it. And I rap good sometimes. And I always bring receipts. Always. And she never does. How dare she? How dare she slander me like this? She knows the reporting I've done. She can't name a single thing I ever said that was untrue ever. Because I don't say things that are untrue.
But again, a healthy dialogue, a discussion, taking different viewpoints and looking at cases from different angles. I think that's very much part of our system, and it's a great aspect of our system. But I think we all need to be cautious about what we put out there and make sure that what we're putting out to the public, and we have that kind of platform, that it's accurate. That's our obligation. At least that's how I see mine when, I do these kinds of spots, is I want to be accurate.
You just made up a lie.
And tell you what I know. And if I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know, or I haven't heard that.
You just made up a lie.
But Turtle Boy definitely crossed the line, and certainly wasn't unbiased.
What line?
Right.
I don't have to be.
It's important to say he served jail time, and he might.
Why is that important to say, Joel? Like, why is that important to say that he served jail time? Do you know what I served jail time for? For what? What? Because somebody made up a lie about me. That's it. That's what I got jacked up about a bunch of fake charges that aren't going anywhere. I had opinions on the internet that were taken out of context and mashed together, and they called it witness intimidation, and I got put on bail, and then somebody made up a lie about me. That's it. And then that lie got dropped. That's it. That's what I went to jail for. I wasn't convicted of anything. It was a bail revocation. Why is that important to mention? Why does that have to define me? It is important to mention, I guess, because it's like, oh yeah, that's a problem that maybe journalists shouldn't go to jail. Like, that's what I'm surprised more people don't think like that. That's kind of like, and again, I've been on this show briefly with Wendy Murphy. He seems like a nice guy. I'd go on again. If you're going to talk about Karen Read, you might as well have the guy that knows this Karen Read story better than anyone on, if you want an actual discussion about this, instead of talking about me, because that's what this is. If you're going to talk about me, at least, Joel can come on my show if he wants, but they're talking about me, so why not have me on? I don't back down. Like, I bring receipts. And if you're going to allow this woman to come on your show and make up shit about me, because I messaged him about this, all right? And I messaged Joel, and let me read my conversation with him. I said, I just watched a stream today in which blatantly defamatory information was spread about me. Nathan Reed did not buy me a car. That is laughably ridiculous. And if you're going to talk about that, why not just have me on to discuss it? He says, I followed it up, made sure to. She stuck by it. So she stuck by her lie. We're covering this extensively. Let's get you on at the end of this week or next. Will be fun to have you back. And I'd love to go. I'd love to do it, but he's offered this before and then it hasn't happened. I'll go on anything, because I don't like it when people make up lies about me. And by the way, like the ratings and it's like you'll have the biggest. That's one thing I can guarantee, Joel. You will have the biggest audience you've ever had when I come on. And that's not bragging. It's just factual. Look at the rating. I'm a ratings generator, man. Anywhere I go, when I go to court, there are cameras there every time, media there every time. It's just a fact. I'm not full of myself. I know it sounds like I'm a little cocky. I'm definitely confident. I don't lack confidence, but there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And it's just realistic, man. Like, look, wherever I go now, there are cameras. Okay. There are media everywhere. So that's it. So you bring me on your show, you're going to have ratings like you've never seen before. I don't know if that means anything to Joel. So I'd love to go on. And it would be good content. That it's not just because I'm outrageous. It's because it's good content. And it's like, I will bring facts. I will bring receipts. And then that's it. That's it. Okay. You sound a little cocky. Fuck out of here, Mr. C. I hate you. There's a difference between cocky and confident. I'm confident. That's it. Stop me. No, I will not stop. I will continue it, Mr. C. I will be more cocky than before. And you're going to sit there and fucking enjoy it and watch every single minute of this show. And you're going to eat it up because I told you to, because you're a good doggy. You're a good doggy, aren't you? Yeah. And you're not going anywhere. Nobody gets to dictate the content on my show ever, period. You back me into a wall. You force me to be a little cocky with this shit, with this condescending shit. It's like, eventually you have to stand up for yourself and be like, no, Actually, I'm not some fucking pushover. I'm not. Here's my resume. Facts speak for themselves. I went to fucking jail for this. You know, I believe in this. I bring receipts. Okay. Anyway, let's, anybody have any questions? A couple turtle chats here. Did $10 from Samantha. Did Tully scout your phone for your nudes too? Oh, God. If he went, I mean, it's hard to miss. It's hard to miss. Let's just put it that way. Thank you. Kathy, I mean, if you speaking of confident, I hope he did. All right, Kathy sends $10. Says, I think we found out today who the mystery civilization was who was in the house that night, whose phone was going to help the defense. It was John. Okay, thank you. Gracie sends $5. Says, Adam Lallygagger is torturous to listen to. Just talks in circles. Yes, he does. Can't wait till the villains get up there. Appreciate that. All right, cool. Tyrone sends $5 and says, the Commonwealth made a mistake by giving Karen Reed's attorneys time. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All right, cool. All right. Anyone else have any comments? Yeah, the Intimidator. They call me the Intimidator. Okay. Okay. See ya. See you later. Bye. Yeah, exactly. I'm no one's doormat. You're not going to be spoken down to like that. I'd wear the pink shirt if that's what it took. Whatever they want. Lally did he say it was exactly at 12:45? I don't know. I'd have to listen to that again. All right, cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to call it a night because it's getting a little bit late, but good audience tonight. Good show. And we still have like over 3,000 people watching at 11:20. That's pretty cool. But we'll see you guys all on Thursday night for Turtle Club, and everybody else we'll see on Saturday night for the live show. I will next be in Dedham. I'll be there Friday with the people. I'm going to go 3 days a week with the people and keep streaming every day for this. So I'll be back Thursday streaming, and we'll talk to you later. Peace, Turtle Riders.